Hey everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. This is day 8 of the Montana road trip. We're in southern Michigan and we stopped by on the way for a service call. A YouTube subscriber actually got a hold of me a couple months ago and wanted to do like a diagnosis over the phone, and you know, this was on the way, so he said, why don't you stop by and take a look at my Genie boom lift. It's a 1992 model, the S60, with a gasoline engine, so not like the one we just diagnosed earlier with the PHAD alternator. That was a diesel version. So I guess I have some experience, but this is probably a whole different ballgame. It has a Ford engine in it. We'll take a closer look. But right now I wanted to just ask the owner a couple questions about the history. You know, did it run when he got it, or why is it, you know, what happened? So here we go. Hey Jason.
How are you?
Awesome.
Good, good.
So what's the story with this Genie boom lift?
Well, currently we have what you would call a crank no start. So
all right.
When I acquired the machine, it would intermittently start. And what I found out to be the problem was the some mud dabbers or wasps or something were making their nest on the timing belt and creating a flat spot on the.
So let's see, this is a 4-cylinder.
Yep, Ford 2.3. It's an industrial motor.
Timing belt's behind that.
So they had kind of went in back through here, created a flat spot, so it was basically jumping time. That's why it was starting, you know, eventually after you kept cranking it. So
okay.
Since then, the engine controller has been shorting out since day one.
Okay, so you said you put a new timing belt on. That actually, you know, now it's in time. And did it run for a while, or once it runs, then this box you said shorts out?
No, it would always run.
Okay.
The engine controller basically controls your engine RPM. So every time you put a load to either go up or down or extend out.
Okay, so it's like an automatic throttle.
Right. It would use this actuator right here, cause the engine RPM to raise up or down in order to accommodate for what speed it needed for the pump. So that was always shorting out, but currently, like I said, I had one local techs out here, and they had given me the diagnosis that I needed a new ignition module, so I put that on.
And where is that located?
That's on the back side or the inside of the engine right here.
Okay, I guess
kind of see it there.
I see
kind
a couple
of the old
relays.
style ignition modules. So that,
yeah, we'll take a closer look at that. So that was his diagnosis. You said that was causing this guy to short out?
No, it was just. That was his reason why it wouldn't currently start. So we were there was another tech prior to him trying to figure out why the engine controller would short out, and I don't know what he caused, or if he caused the engine not to start currently, or what the current condition is.
So this is controller number what, 2, 3? How many times has it burned out?
I think number 3.
Okay.
I think the first 1 or 2 was just being uneducated or not realizing once you energize it, it's done.
You mean it would be instant?
Yeah.
Once you turn the key?
Yeah.
It wouldn't even start then, right?
Well, the controller, like I said, you wouldn't know if it was bad or not until you hooked up this actuator here. And what would happen, it was cause it to go to wide open throttle. So that's another reason why you'd find out.
That's a clue. Okay, so it would go to wide open throttle and then burn it up.
Yeah,
burn out the controller.
It wouldn't do its function or job. So.
So it would start up. It would go to wide open throttle, and then that box is toast.
Yep.
Instantly.
Yep. Yeah, it wouldn't function. So. And so we were trying to find that particular problem, and in the meantime, it's caused this no start. So.
Okay, so that could probably still is a problem, but now it doesn't start at all.
Right.
Okay, so we might be dealing with a couple different issues here. Interesting. And we do have, I guess, a good shop manual, wiring diagrams.
Yeah.
So we should be able to at least trace some wires and, you know, figure out why it's not starting. And hopefully we won't cook this guy again. How much does this cost?
Right around $225.
Oh boy! Now the pressure's on now.
Yeah, it's currently isolated, so we've got a fused off there, so you have to put the fuse in order for it to be energized. So
there's some custom wiring, right? You said
additional wiring that was added on just to try and isolate the dirty circuit.
Okay,
for that engine controller.
Are these relays stock or?
No, those were all added on.
Those are added on.
But it's all tied into the same circuit.
Okay.
So I think if we focus on the starting issue,
yeah, we'll start from scratch for sure.
if we can get it to end, to run, I think that would be a huge start.
Yeah, but I don't want to burn up your new controller either. If we get it to start, and then
without the fuse in it, we won't.
Oh, okay.
We won't be energizing it.
So you're saying it'll run without this box at all?
Exactly. Yep.
This just controls the throttle.
Yeah, and that's why these two wires are unhooked.
Okay.
Because this is what the controller is going to tell to turn the throttle up or down.
So this is like kind of the manual.
Yeah, this was for the previous owner. They had the cable going all the way up to the basket up there.
Holy cow!
So they could get it, move it around. So
that's amazing. So so you bought it with this thing installed?
Yeah. No, I didn't put that on there,
so this was always an issue then?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the original issue that I was trying to resolve. So.
I see. So you bought it like this.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to solve that issue, and then now it's a no start.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
So if we can resolve the no start, then we would have this option again.
So at least we'll get it running, and you can do it the
right now
old
I have
school way.
27,000 pounds of dead weight right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not too much in the way, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, we'll get to it, and hopefully we'll get this thing up and running. I still have to drive west today, another 6 hours to State College, but I'll probably stop somewhere on the way. But yeah, let's get going. So we do have printed wiring diagrams here, which is fantastic. So it does sound like there are two separate issues. So we're going to focus on the no start first. And then Jason, the owner here, says some wiring has been added on to, what'd you say, isolate the
engine controller.
The engine controller, the expensive box.
Yeah.
That costs $225.
Right.
And that is done through, walk me through that again real quick.
Well, basically the power, I believe, supplying the controller is going to be isolated by a cube relay.
A cube relay, okay.
And then there's also an inline fuse prior to that feeding it. So,
so
it's either going to take the fuse out or the cube relay.
I see.
In the dirty circuit, which is what I'm calling it.
Is the fuse on here somewhere? That
no, the fuse won't be on there. I think that was added above and beyond this diagram.
Oh, okay. So it feeds something. Yeah. Something here. So
but here's your actuator. That's the. Yeah. That actually controls the throttle.
That's the thing with the yellow wire tied to it. That you can manually pull it.
And then your governor. These are the points right here for your governor.
So six pins.
Right. Which I think 5 are used, and then it's.
And then
to a cube relay.
So the only input here really is from the ignition module, the RPMs, right? And it's supposed to hold the RPMs constant?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So we have a ground. There's the input pin number 3. Then the governor is tied into pin number 4. And then this guy, see it's red, so that's a power feed. I assume power feed to the governor actuator, so it's ground side switched. So the governor provides a ground to the actuator, and that opens your throttle plate. And that's also fed by the same terminal 36 from this engine high idle relay.
But I also want to note that I had the no start prior to installing this. So that's another clue.
Okay.
So that's why I don't think we need to focus so much on the add-ons, but go to the basics and figure out why the engine's not running.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yep. All right. Yeah, that's fantastic background info. So let's get to find some wires and do a couple checks. All right. Well, what we initially thought was an electrical problem, right now it doesn't look that way. The coil is putting out a healthy spark. We can double verify that with a test light hooked to battery negative. Obviously test light works. Okay, Ladina, go ahead. Yep. Nice, okay, good. Great spark there. We can do the same check at the end of a spark plug wire. Right about here.
Nope.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that in the sunlight. Let's try this. Okay, go ahead. Okay. So, I think we have spark, but fuel is also important. So, already did a little work here. Took this hose off, it was bone dry. Instead of, the tank is, the level is low, the gas smells like varnish. What we're gonna do is just bypass the whole thing. Fuel pump's right here. We're dipping this hose into a coffee can full of fuel. I actually had this in stock in my little fuel hose kit, and just to see if we have fuel, we can disconnect this guy right here, and yep, we definitely have fuel pumping up through the filter now. We did not have that before, and let's plug that in. And now I'm going to play around with the buttons here, try to get this thing to fire up. Maybe Vladimir will hold the camera. Make sure all our wires are out of the way. Okay, so there's a choke lever here, and the owner said the solenoid's a little sticky, so we'll choke it and then try to run it. Okay, so there's some combustion. We'll let it chill for a little bit. Get my stuff out of the way. Maybe a little shot of brake clean in the air intake. No mass airflow sensors to worry about here. Let's see if that'll give it a kick in the pants. You ready? Okay. It almost ran on brake clean a little while ago. So let's see. If this is full, I guess full throttle. That's the throttle. Okay, now it's not really doing much right now, and we still have gas in our gas can. So let me check for a spark again, and we'll be right back. Sorry. Well, we think it's a little flooded, so we're just gonna do wide open throttle with the yellow pull string, no choke. Just go for it. Okay. Get a little shot of brake clean. I swear it almost started a second ago.
Do we have fuel and spark now?
We definitely have spark. I'm not sure about fuel, but we're gonna do that.
I'll use brake. I guess I got starter fluid. I don't know.
Okay, well,
too much of a difference, but.
So I'll take out one of these spark plugs, see what it looks like.
You want a plug socket?
I guess if you have it handy. Is it a 5/8?
I've got faster than I do.
That's the one. So what we can do is stick this in the end of the spark plug wire, ground it out, and look for spark right here. Yeah, there's spark. I mean, they are a little black. They are kind of black. I'm tempted to just brush them off briefly, because if it's jumping sideways, then it won't work. That looks a lot better. Okay. So here's what number 1 looked like. It was wet, completely black. So I'm gonna hit the starter and see if it sparks in the plug. Is it ready? Oh, you have to wait for it. Well, it's still jumping there, but it still didn't look very good. And it smells of, it doesn't smell like good gas at all. Alright, well, we got all the spark plugs removed, cleaned out, reinstalled. We're going to give it a shot of the good stuff for good luck.
Here, I got some starting fluid.
Starting fluid? Okay, that might work a little better. Okay. Right in the throat. Okay, leave that here. We got plenty of fuel in our coffee can.
Cord's clear.
Yep. Course should be clear. So we're gonna do no choke, and I'll control the throttle with the thing.
Watch your
here.
face.
Yeah, we'll watch our face from the muffler.
Right there.
See that I hook everything up? Oh, come on. It's not even trying. Okay, let's see what happened to our spark plugs. Well, it's a little wet, but not bad. So let's try this. Round it out. Ready? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Ready? I saw a good spark. Did you see it? Off, on. Should start.
We out of fuel again though?
Alright, so we got a battery charger on here, a nice heavy duty one. It's charging at like 40 amps. So that should give us a little more cranking power. Let's see, crank. Oh yeah, it cranks very well. So now, I just want to try to air this thing out. Just pull on this and just crank it for a little while.
Watch your face.
I am very, very surprised it's not even coughing or doing anything at all, because it did initially. Okay, well, let's see what we're missing again. Want to see if the plug is still getting wet or what. The one thing I didn't bring with me is the picoscope with a pressure transducer, which would have been pretty handy right now. And we don't really need it. Just to check timing. So it's all completely wet with fuel. I'm wondering if we should just take the plugs out and then Just turn the engine over, just spin all that crap out of there, and then try again. Ugh. Okay. So all the plugs look really, really wet. There's no combustion occurring inside these cylinders. So what we're going to do is just leave these out, disable the spark, crank it over by hand for a little while to get some air in there, and hopefully this thing will fire up. So we'll just disconnect the ignition coil for, that's the easiest thing. We don't have spark now. Let's just crank it over. Oh man, that stinks. Like not like gasoline, like, you know, ethanol gasoline when it sits, it just gets that varnish smell in there. That's what it smells like. All right, well, one more. So for good luck, I'm just going to do a little spray of WD-40 in there to make sure the piston rings seat nicely, and I don't know, I just like WD-40. Maybe brake cleaner would be better for this application, right? Okay, put in our spark plugs. Alright, so this is just without starting fluid. I'm going to air it out. Yeah! Cut. Alright, we're back up. So, okay, it runs. Timing's good, spark is good. Now we need a good fuel mixture. How do we get that from crappy fuel? Well, we're going to try the coffee can again with, you know, fuel from a gas can. Hopefully this carburetor isn't too gunked up and it'll run off of its own fuel source. So let's give that a try. Flood mode, huh? Alright, so we're going to dip the hose into the coffee can. So now it should pump gas up to the carb.
Watch your face. Again.
Yep. So it probably won't start now since it ran out of fuel. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Has it run that well in 2 years?
Nope.
Okay, good. We're on the right track then. So now the fuel pump should have filled the carb bowl. Okay. Give it a little second. And that was without me pulling the throttle at all. See black smoke?
Yeah.
Running a little rich, maybe? Let's try again. Let's start, stall, or start, run, stall. That's what it is right now. Ah, okay. So now I think the ignition relay or whatever is actually cutting the ignition, because every time we can start it, it's like off. So that is one of the safety relays now not being happy and shutting that off. So I'm happy with that. We got it running. It's clean, and now we need to figure out why this thing's cutting out power, you know, after 3 seconds. Kind of like the diesel was with the bad alternator. If it doesn't like something, it'll disable the you know, the whole system, like oil pressure, coolant, all of these things have to you know, be operational. So we can try again. So I don't know, that light, is that even on or is it dim? hard to say. But yeah, now, so that was issue 1. Now we're moving on to issue 2. And we're not even close to getting this governor working. That'll be issue 3, I guess. So just to prove the theory that it's a control side issue and the whole thing is shutting down power, here's the power feed to the ignition coil. Hopefully you guys can see that in this sunlight. Okay, so you start it up. So it just cuts power to the ignition coil, cuts power to everything actually. So it's a main relay, you know, whatever controls that, that's where we're gonna focus our search.